Tonight, a ferocious fire at Torrensville, heartbreak for the homeowners and a lesson for us all. Hear the important warning.
A man killed and a truck driver arrested on the Edinburgh RAF base.
She confessed to the deadly neglect of her baby, but this Adelaide mum won't spend a day in prison.
Outdoors, but out of bounds. SA's new non-smoking areas. Break the rules and your money goes up in smoke.
And new images tonight at the Crows Theberton HQ, but when will work begin?
This is Adelaide's 9 News with Kate Collins and Brenton Ragless.
Good evening. A fierce inferno has torn through $1 million Torrensville home, which was just a week away from being handed to new owners.
The house has been destroyed, and real estate agents say it serves as a warning to buyers not to leave their new purchases unprotected.
A sea of orange in the midnight sky as flames leap from the windows of a vacant home that continued to burn ferociously for more than 2 hours.
You could feel the heat. The flames had completely consumed the entire house. So you could see the roof had collapsed in, see all the windows had been destroyed.
24 firefighters swarming the scene at Palmyra Avenue, trying desperately to battle the inferno, but the blaze was all-consuming.
We just woke up with lights flashing, fire trucks everywhere, ambulance here. It was really scary. It's a fierce fire.
But despite their best efforts, the home was destroyed. The current owner of the home has told 9 News settlement of the property was set to go through next week after it sold for more than $1 million.
That's frustration, isn't it, for the new owner? And if it hasn't been, settlement hasn't been yet, what happens now? But
real estate agents say it's buyer beware, with the responsibility lying on the new owner.
The purchaser must take out insurance, and the agent would have given them instructions of that.
Investigations continuing well into the day, with a focus on whether a gas leak may have been the cause of the blaze. Kelly Hughes at 9 News.
A man has been killed and a truck driver arrested after an accident on the RAF base at Edinburgh in Adelaide's north. Emergency services rushed to the Air Force base around 8:30 this morning after reports a man had been hit by a truck. Ambulance crews arrived quickly, but the 28-year-old Parafield Gardens man died at the scene. Major Crash Police arrested the truck driver and he's since been charged. Josephine Shannon is live at the RAF base. Josie, what's the truck driver been charged with?
Brenton, the 59-year-old Athelston man, has been charged with causing death by careless driving. Now, there's been an extensive joint investigation here today with Major Crash Police, Safe Work SA and Defence. The Defence Force says it's aware of the incident, but there's no confirmation whether the driver or the victim are Defence Force personnel. Kate?
Josie, thank you. A southern suburbs mother whose injured baby died after she waited too long to get help won't spend a day behind bars. Instead, she'll serve her time at home, described during her sentencing as a loving mother who made an incomprehensible decision for which the 3-week-old paid the ultimate price.
A ring of family working to protect Rebecca Denton, something she failed to do for her own baby boy.
Well, get out of our way.
Rebecca, how are you feeling about sentencing this morning? She needn't have worried, walking from the court to begin her 4.5-year sentence at home.
Rebecca, are you relieved that you've avoided jail today?
Baby Alvin lived for just 21 days. The newborn rushed unresponsive to the Noarlunga Hospital in 2021. His injuries, including broken ribs and bleeding on the brain, allegedly caused by his father and Denton's then partner, Ashley McGregor, who claims he tripped and knocked over the bassinet. But for 42 hours before his death, despite noticing her baby was grunting, unable to feed and squealing out in pain, Denton did nothing and instead blew smoke from a bong into his face to try and revive him.
Why didn't you seek help for your baby son?
If she had, the court heard, he could have been saved.
Denton shook and cried in the dock before breathing a sigh of relief as the judge told her she'd be able to serve her sentence at home.
It will be 2.5 years before she can apply for release. McGregor will stand trial for manslaughter early next year. Denton has agreed to give evidence against him. Beth Excel, 9 News.
New outdoor no smoking zones will be in place across the state from tomorrow, with vaping and cigarette use banned at places like beaches and outside shops and schools.
And anyone caught breaking the rules will pay the price.
It's a toxic trend that could be going up in smoke.
What's it doing for our health? It's like not helping.
With vaping on the rise, particularly among younger South Australians, the government's making it harder to take up. From tomorrow, it'll be illegal to vape or smoke in a swathe of public areas across the state, from outdoor pools to beaches, schools and childcare centres, entrances of shopping centres, hospitals, major event venues and junior sport.
I work as a school teacher, so vapes are definitely common.
The only safe thing that you should be putting into your lungs is air.
A new advertising campaign also rolling out. This just the latest part of an Australian-wide crackdown. In January, the federal government banned the importation of disposable vapes into the country. From tomorrow, that will extend to all vapes, including those that are rechargeable.
What we are seeing a rise in is people presenting with mouth ulcers, mouth irritation, a propensity to develop shortness of breath and asthma.
As for how the new rules will be monitored, SA Health says it'll send compliance teams to hotspots identified through complaints. It'll then monitor those areas. Those caught flouting the rules risk an on-the-spot fine of $105 and up to $750 if prosecuted. The biggest change set to be later this year, when the Commonwealth intends to ban the sale of vapes unless you have a prescription.
Ultimately, the goal is to get rid of it altogether.
Ollie Haig, 9 News.
A cross-city police chase starting in Ascot Park has come to an end, with officers spiking the tyres of a stolen Ford Ranger in the car park of the Coles distribution centre at Edinburgh. The police helicopter tracking as the man drove dangerously through the city's west and into the northern suburbs, unsuccessfully trying to lose them at the business.
Yeah, got him.
When the ute was stopped, police swooped on the 43-year-old driver. The vehicle that had metal jammed across the windscreen was searched. He's now facing a range of driving and drug charges.
Her husband died in the Lyle McEwen Hospital after waiting more than 9 hours for treatment. Now, a northern suburbs widow is suing the hospital for hundreds of thousands of dollars. She says multiple attempts to seek answers and justice have failed, leaving her no choice but to take her fight to court.
Elizabeth Eccleston keeps constant reminders of Tony around her Salisbury East home. It's where they plan to grow old. Time together that's gone.
Extremely hard. You just got to try and get on.
On his final day in June 2022, Tony spent 9.5 hours waiting in the Lyle McEwen Emergency Department. He'd told doctors he was in pain and feared he had a blood clot. Help came too late.
We put our trust in our medical system. They're negligent.
Elizabeth has been offered $20,000 compensation. Far too little, she says, for such a big loss. Now she's suing the hospital, claiming it breached its duty of care 24 times.
It's horrible that we've actually got to take it to court.
An independent review has found Tony died from a catastrophic event that couldn't be predicted or prevented, and ultimately couldn't be survived. But Elizabeth firmly believes that if he had been treated on time, he would still be here today.
This happened because he wasn't treated within an hour. Had he been treated, more than likely, Tony would have survived.
The minister, elected on a promise to fix the health system, has met with Elizabeth in person. Both he and department officials have told 9 News they can't comment while the matter's before the courts.
I want them to be accountable for Tony's death. I've said all the way along, this isn't about money to us. This is about Tony's voice and someone saying, sorry.
Ben Terry, 9 News.
Tonight, 9 News can show you the new design plans for the Crows' new multi-million-dollar training facility. Gus McDonald is at Theberton Oval. Gus, it's only a matter of months until work begins.
It is, Kate, and work is meant to begin around midway through this year, but for Crows fans, it couldn't come fast enough. And tonight we can show you the latest look of the Crows HQ. Images into the 9 newsroom show exactly what this new multi-million-dollar facility will look like. The main oval will be surrounded by an open concourse, allowing fans to be within touching distance of the players. Supporters will be able to choose between terrace seating or grandstands, and there will be a hill behind the goals, just like Adelaide Oval. Last year, 9 News revealed an inside look of the training building, which shows the modern change rooms, gym and swimming pool. But Brenton, Crows fans will have to wait a little bit longer. That final consultation began today and will run for the next 3 weeks.
Thank you, Gus. A driver has lost control of Pasadena, ploughing straight through a front fence and into a home on Dobson Avenue. It happened just before midday. The driver, a man in his 70s, was treated for cuts to his head and hands before being taken for checks to the Flinders Medical Centre.
We pulled him out and then, luckily didn't look like anyone was home, so if there was someone sat in that front lounge room, would have been bad.
No one was home at the time.
Police are examining video of accused killer Beau Lamar Condon in the moments before and after he allegedly murdered Jessie Baird and partner Luke Davies. The 28-year-old was allegedly recorded scoping out Jessie's home and making 2 trips to a Westfield in Sydney's south for surfboard bags.
You were looking at accused killer Beau Lamar Condon at Miranda Westfield, just 3 hours after he allegedly murdered Jessie Baird and Luke Davies. He walks out of a sports store with the surfboard bag under his arm. The police case is he bought the bag to carry the body of Luke. 2 days earlier, before the alleged murders, same store and same purchase. The police constable walking in with a friend. They leave with the surfboard bag slung over his shoulder. This time, a bag police alleged to use to dispose of Jessie. Detectives will claim he thought he only needed 1 bag for his alleged target, Jessie. But when he arrived at the Paddington home, Luke Davies was also there and shot dead. New vision obtained by 9 News shows a man in a black cap pulling up in a black SUV on that morning, 25 metres from Jessie's house. He gets out and drives away at 9 a.m. 50 minutes later, the 2 young men are allegedly gunned down with his police-issued pistol. The following day, police alleged he returned to the house in a rented van he used to move the bodies. Fast forward 8 days to Tuesday, they were found inside 2 surfboard bags dumped 200 kilometres away on a property at Bungonia, southwest of Sydney. It will be alleged 3 shots were fired to kill both men, and now a security camera from a house on this street has captured the actual sound of those alleged shots. Now that recording has been handed to police. Piece by piece, frame by frame, police are building their case. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
Australia's corridors of power have been rocked by revelations from our top spy that a former politician betrayed the country to foreign agents. And tonight there are growing calls to name and shame the accused.
Synchronised and on show. Philippines President Bongbong Marcos, the second leader of a crucial Pacific ally to address Parliament this month.
Geopolitical polarities and strategic competitions threaten our hard-won peace.
Competitions playing out on the seas, online and in the shadows.
While the terrorism threat level is possible, if we had a threat level for espionage and foreign interference, it would be at certain the highest level on the scale.
Last night, Australia's top spy, Mike Burgess, warning foreign powers are targeting more Australians than ever before, including a former Member of Parliament caught aiding an adversary.
This politician sold out their country, party, former colleagues to advance the interests of a foreign regime.
The politician wasn't named, their actions at the time not a crime. Tonight, that response not enough for many.
A rap over the knuckles for a traitor is unacceptable. It's not enough.
I don't think they'll be stupid enough to repeat what they've done in the past. So problem neutralised.
I'm sure they know who they are, and I'm sure they were listening last night.
Malcolm Turnbull's son Alex says he was approached by Chinese agents and reported it to ASIO. Peter Dutton says it's a Labor MP without evidence, but neither side named names, even with the protection of parliamentary privilege.
Why won't you name the traitor now?
It's a document that is very much the Director-General's and ASIO's to do so.
If someone's a traitor to Australia and you're not telling us who it is, then we need to know.
Out of the shadows, Houthi rebels are still disrupting normal shipping in the Red Sea. Tonight, a further half-dozen Australian Defence Force personnel will join the international headquarters in Bahrain.
It's very important that we are a part of this mission because our national interest is completely tied up as an island trading nation.
ASIO's warning the Middle East war and the standoff in the waters around China all point to a disruption in the rules-based order, which is threatening our way of life here and around the region.
Australians need to know the threat is real, the threat is now, and the threat is deeper and broader than you might think.
More than sabres rattling tonight. Charles Croucher, 9 News.
Police are investigating a break-in and arson attack at a Waterloo Corner property. Firefighters called to Supple Road just after 9 last night after 2 people were spotted on CCTV setting a farm shed on fire. Crews forced to cut their way in to put the blaze out, finding a tractor inside had been destroyed. A necklace had been stolen from the same property 3 hours earlier.
A Clearview couple has welcomed a healthy baby boy, their first child. And because of the date, he's more than 1 in a million. Little Hugh is a leap year baby, born on the 29th of February, just like his dad before him.
A firstborn child, baby Hugh's arrival was always going to be special.
But he coming today and healthy. I'm so happy.
But 3 weeks before his due date, with parents who weren't quite ready, he arrived at 9:04 this morning on a rare day. Now a little leapling born on February 29.
But, life is unexpected and everything is come. We're happy with that.
And even more special, Dad Danny is a leapling too. He's both 9 years young and turning 36 today.
I still don't believe his words here. He's here today.
And Adelaide mathematicians crunched the numbers for us, and the chances both Hugh and Danny were born on February 29 is 1 in more than 2 million. Adding in, they're also both born in the year of the dragon. It's less than 1 in 300 million.
It's very amazing. I didn't thought like that way.
The year of dragon is always a strong baby.
The couple met here in Adelaide 8 years ago, both having moved from Vietnam. They now know they'll be planning a big birthday party every 4 years, but this year the gift provided itself.
I said, I don't have a present for you on 29th this year, but the baby coming, and he said it's a big present.
Shannon McDonald, 9 News.
So cute. And happy birthday to all the leapling babies.
Yes, got one at work.
We do. Our own Greg turns 15 today. You can work that out. There you go. Well, sport is coming up, and Rennie, Ken Hinkley's thrown his arms around Sam Powell-Pepper.
Yeah, you'd expect him to do so. Admits his player has done wrong, but he's confident he will bounce back. Kate. Hi, everyone. We'll hear from the Port coach a little later as the Power prepares to welcome back a couple of key players. The Matildas booked their ticket to France in commanding style. And Cam Green comes to the rescue for Australia on day 1 of the first test against New Zealand.
Thank you, Rennie. We'll see you soon. An urgent recall alert tonight.
When 9 News returns, we'll have the details on why Kmart is pulling a Bluetooth tracker from shelves.
Traffic trouble on the freeway as a car burst into flames near Stirling.
And a legal loss for Prince Harry in his bid to keep taxpayer-funded security guards. A fright on the freeway for a driver forced to jump clear as their car burst into flames. It happened on the down track just before the Stirling exit, just before 1 this afternoon. A small grass fire also sparked. Traffic became banked up with much of the freeway closed for more than an hour for the clean-up.
A Bluetooth tracking device sold at Kmart has been recalled with urgent warnings about the product's batteries. Packaging for the Anko Smart Tag, sold from late December to mid-February, doesn't have safety messages about its coin battery. If swallowed, the battery could cause severe or fatal injuries in less than 2 hours.
A fresh setback tonight for Prince Harry in his ongoing battle with the British government over private taxpayer-funded security while in the UK. London's High Court ruling against the Duke of Sussex, who is set to appeal the decision.
Prince Harry during his most recent trip to London. Rushing to his father's side just hours after the King revealed his cancer battle. This time he had security and a police escort, a service he's fought hard to keep since stepping down as a working royal. That bid now rejected by London's High Court.
This case is absolutely unprecedented for a member of the royal family to take the British government to court. I mean, I don't think he's going to take this decision lying down.
The Duke's lawyers had argued he was singled out and treated less favourably when the UK government ceased automatic taxpayer-funded personal protection whenever he's in the country. Lengthy and expensive court proceedings were launched in 2020 after he and Meghan quit royal duties and moved to the US. Today, Judge Sir Peter Lane ruled against the 39-year-old, saying the change to his security status was not unlawful or irrational. The ruling is a blow for Prince Harry, who's expected to make more frequent visits to the UK in the near future to see his father. And in May, it's likely he'll be here in London for a service to mark the 10-year anniversary of the Invictus Games. Hinting at that on US television last month.
I've got other trips planned that would take me through the UK or back to the UK.
Prince Harry never completely lost personal protection, but it would be assessed on a case-by-case basis. Lawyers say he'll challenge the ruling in the Court of Appeal. In London, Edward Godfrey, 9 News.
Well, the final day of summer has delivered mild conditions to Adelaide.
But Jessica Braithwaite, this weekend at the Fringe, things will be anything but mild.
Yeah, that's right, Brenton. I'd say more wild than mild. Today we are at Gluttony checking out the best Fringe kids shows on offer that you can see. And that means all things big, bright, and in this case, balloon related, as we were lucky enough to get an up close and personal look at Justin's big balloon show. I reckon this is the most weird and wonderful piece of footage we've filmed at Channel 9, with Justin putting himself inside a giant balloon. The show is bursting with grand illusions, thrilling circus stunts, and of course Justin's signature big balloon creations. Other kids' favourites here include Circus, the show, which features world-class illusions, tumbling acrobats, jugglers and aerialists, and Kaboom, where the maddest of mad scientists will be lighting fires on stage and setting kids' curiosity ablaze with a fascinating set of gizmos and gadgets. And while the dry weather is certainly convenient for festival goers, we've now gone a whole month of February without receiving any rain, and the last time that happened was 2007. We've also just recorded our 7th warmest summer on record, so I've got the full forecast with all the details on what's coming up next a little bit later.
Yeah, incredible. Jessica, thank you. We've seen a sharp rise in the use of artificial intelligence.
But could it help you and your business? In the news ahead, the free course being offered to millions of Australian workers.
The US politician who made headlines for freezing up while speaking on camera twice announces his retirement.
And we take you inside one of the country's most mind-blowing homes with a price tag to match.
One million Australian workers and small business owners are being given access to a free course to help them get to grips with artificial intelligence.
The aim to help them understand how AI can make their businesses more productive.
It's a technology that could be worth $4 trillion to the economy by early next decade. And these students are at the cutting edge, learning about artificial intelligence and cybersecurity at the Institute of Applied Technology.
AI is going to change the way we live and work.
While many have heard of AI, very few know how to use it. So the federal government, through the CSIRO and TAFE New South Wales, is providing 1 million scholarships for any small or medium business owner or employee to learn about it.
What this will do is to give them some fundamentals. What is artificial intelligence? What could it mean for them? How could they benefit? What do they need to be cautious of?
The higher the trust, the greater the use of the technology and the greater the chance we have of making sure our firms can compete.
At a time of rising costs and tough trading conditions, advocates say artificial intelligence could be critical to the viability of many small businesses.
Small businesses need to be more productive. They need to be able to do more with less, and that means innovation. So aspects of AI around automation, analysing your data, having a better understanding of your supply chain.
While physical classes are obviously held here, the Introduction to AI course is all online, making it easily accessible to anyone in Australia. It takes about 3 to 5 hours in your own time. It is completely free.
To access it, simply go to iat.newsouthwales.edu.au and follow the links to the Introduction to Artificial Intelligence course. Eddie Meyer, 9 News.
Shocking claims tonight from the wife of late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who says his body was abused following his death in an Arctic prison. Addressing the European Parliament, Yulia called Vladimir Putin a bloody monster.
The public murder has once again showed everyone that Putin is capable of anything and that you cannot negotiate with him.
Navalny's funeral will be held in Moscow on Friday.
America's longest-serving Senate leader, Mitch McConnell, is stepping down in November after nearly 2 decades in the role. The 82-year-old Republican has had recent health scares, including freezing during news conferences.
Are you good, Mitch?
Okay, Mitch. Anything else you want to say?
McConnell shared the news on the Senate floor and was given a standing ovation. If you've ever dreamt of a tree change, then this next story is for you. One of the world's most spectacular leafy retreats is now on the market for those with plenty of green in their pocket.
When you think of a concrete jungle, you're probably not picturing anything quite like this.
There's nothing in the world like it.
This is Alkira, a tranquil, off-grid architectural marvel nestled deep in the oldest rainforest in the world, in Cape Tribulation in far north Queensland.
It's suspended above a man-made lake. 6 cantilevered wings, 5 of which are bedrooms.
Built in 2013 for an avid stamp collector, the pool and roof design based on the head silhouette of the 1950s £1 Jimmy postage stamp.
The materials the architect chose are concrete, glass and timber.
The concrete alone, 5,000 tonnes, cost just shy of $2 million, trucked in every day from the closest town about an hour away. It's right on the doorstep of the Great Barrier Reef. No neighbours and, surprisingly, no mosquitoes.
Plant life, fish life, there's something in the water that seems to deter mosquitoes.
So how much for this piece of paradise? Offers start at over $7 million. Emily Prain, 9 News.
That is phenomenal. Well, saving hundreds on your energy bills.
And it couldn't be easier. Still to come, the 10-second check you can do to see just how much you can slash on your household costs.
Also, a makeover for Jetstar as the airline's CEO flags cheaper flights.
And how a Taylor Swift fan without a ticket slipped through the cracks at a Sydney show. A new tool on a government website is making it easier and quicker than ever to save on power bills. Tonight, 9 News shows you how to get a better deal with your energy provider simply by using one number.
It's a 10 or 11-digit number usually found on the front page of your power bill.
It's called the NMI and it's basically the address of your electricity meter.
Your national metering identifier is now all you need to generate a personalised list of the cheapest plans available to you when you punch it into the government's Energy Made Easy website.
It will draw your usage data out from your current provider. You used to have to enter some data, some information from your last bill. Now you don't even have to do that. One number.
If I change, I save a whopping $140 a year.
Nicole, shocked to learn her bills could be significantly lower when she entered her unique NMI.
I was thinking maybe, $10 here, $20 here. I'm going to contact my provider and see if I can get them to lower.
So it's never been easier to find the cheapest plans on the open market.
Especially with power prices tipped to fall.
We've seen wholesale prices drop dramatically. There are some really competitive offers right now.
Retailers must use a percentage to show you how their advertised price compares to the government's benchmark price. A bigger percentage off this reference price usually means a cheaper plan.
They've got to display every 100 days if there is a better plan or a cheaper plan available within your existing retailers.
According to Compare the Market, Origin's Advantage Variable deal is 16% less than the reference price, a saving of $359 for the average household. SA's Simply Energy Saver 9%, a saving of $214.
That's a couple of $100 back into your hip pocket when we're already stretched from a cost of living perspective.
Claire Todd-Hunter, 9 News.
Jetstar's CEO has defended the airline's performance but admits there's room for improvement. Stephanie Tully has declared the budget carrier is back on track, performing at pre-COVID levels.
It's party mode at Jetstar with a new uniform to usher in what it hopes is a new era.
New planes, new routes, lots of new people, and it was time for a change.
It's the first change to crew outfits in 2 decades. Travel itself the inspiration.
Mesmerising view you get from a plane, it's quite romantic and it's fleeting, but it also feels like you're going somewhere.
And the cost of going somewhere is tipped to come down, according to Flight Centre boss Graham Turner.
International airfares dropping about 14%, and we predict they're going to drop about another 9% over the next 6 months.
He puts that down to more international carriers entering the market.
Airfare in peak season, which might be $3,000 to $3,500, even up to $4,000. If you can save 14 or 15%, that's $300 or $400 at least.
Jetstar's CEO agrees prices have already dropped, but in response to the airline's performance in January, 69% of departures were on time. She says there's always more work to do.
We'll never rest on it. We'll always keep trying to improve it. But we do know December was really impacted by the cyclone in Cairns. January and I'm pleased to say February, which ends today, have had over 70.
The uniform shake-up coincides with a major milestone for Jetstar. This week, it's celebrating 20 years since flights first went on sale. And flying for 10 of them, Captain Rosina Helbig.
I don't think a lot of young women have considered the career of a pilot before, so hopefully, like the saying goes, you cannot be what you cannot see.
Madeline Spark, 9 News.
A man has been slapped with a 6-month ban from Sydney's Olympic Park and fined for sneaking into a Taylor Swift concert. Garnet May posted this video on TikTok showing how he made a fake Access All Areas pass. He was waved through by a core stadium security to the highly sought floor seating. But it wasn't long before police booted him out. But his $150 fine is significantly less than most ticket prices.
Well, Rehn has somehow snuck his way back into the studio as well. Some big names back for Port tomorrow night.
Yeah, the squad's been released ahead of that pre-season clash against Fremantle at Albert and Brenton, and we'll tell you who's in and who's out. Also ahead, the incredible career comeback of Matt Crouch continues. A couple of unlikely sparring partners prepare to square off in the boxing ring. And the Matildas booked their ticket to Paris with a 10 out of 10 performance. Hello again. Port Adelaide is standing by a devastated Sam Powell-Pepper following his 4-match suspension. Coach Ken Hinkley saying both club and player have accepted full responsibility for the betterment of the game.
A notable absentee from the captain's run as the squad prepared for the clash with Fremantle.
Sam's really aware. He knows he's got it wrong. And he understands he's got to pay a price.
After issuing public and private apologies to Crow Mark Keane, Sam Powell-Pepper also remorseful to his teammates.
Of course he is. I mean, Sam's an absolute team player. Sam is no more devastated player than Sam himself, because he doesn't want. He's part of our leadership group and he's a really important part of this team. And we stand by Sam. We don't hang him out.
The first suspension of his AFL career, but one that Hinkley in principle agrees with.
It's a really difficult situation for players, but they can't be any clearer now with their responsibility. And we all accept that because we think it's better for the game.
The Power opting not to request permission for the 26-year-old to play in tomorrow's clash with Fremantle. Todd Marshall and Willem Drew both returned to the side from injury, but Mitch Georgiadis on the comeback from a knee reconstruction won't.
The temptation was there, I'll be honest. The absolute temptation is there to put Mitch Georgiadis out there because we think he's a pretty important player for the future and for the immediate future too.
Soldo and Sweet will battle it out for the first ruck spot, while Charlie Dixon will once again play restricted minutes.
Getting games out of him in season is still very, very valuable to us, and that means lessening some minutes in the off-season or pre-season. We've been very much aware of that.
Georgiadis, Finlayson, McKenzie and Cleary are all emergencies. Vicky Schwartz, 9 News.
An emotional Matt Crouch has expressed his gratitude after being awarded life membership of the Adelaide Crows at last night's season launch. The 28-year-old said it was an honour to receive the accolade after a trying few seasons in which he was often overlooked at selection.
Through the ups and downs of what footy gives you, it can be quite a selfish industry at times, and there's been times where I've been pretty flat. To become a life member, it's something I'm hugely proud of and honoured to receive.
Yeah, great stuff. The veteran was one of 5 club people recognised, among them dual AFLW Premiership coach Matthew Clark. All-rounder Cameron Green has saved Australia from embarrassment on day 1 of the first test against New Zealand. Green is 103 not out at stumps. The Aussies 9 for 279 after a top-order collapse.
Australia needed a hero and Cam Green answered the call.
There it is, punched away, backward a point. That is 4, that is 100.
With 2 balls to spare on day 1, the all-rounder posted just his second test ton.
Just one of those days, and I think someone just needed to bat through, so yeah, I was glad it was me.
Playing a test in New Zealand for the first time in 8 years, Australia was forced to bat on a green deck.
Yeah, we're going to bowl, but yeah, not too upset with that.
But it wasn't the start to the first test the Aussies hoped for.
Yes, and taken!
Marnus Labuschagne's barren summer continued, out for 1. The visitors in trouble at 4 for 89, just after lunch.
There it is, outside edge, well bowled.
Mitch Marsh tried to stop the rot.
Up in the air to top edge, it'll fly over the slips though, and way back.
Before a wayward shot saw the all-rounder dismissed for 40. Lucky for Australia, Green was still at the crease. The number 4 spot, all but his.
In the air through Southie. That was a half chance and it is going to run away for 4.
It seemed Green would run out of partners.
Willow Rourke picks up another and Stark's on his way.
Skipper Pat Cummins made his intentions clear.
Cummins takes him on and takes him on brilliantly.
But that didn't last long, and neither did Nathan Lyon.
Yes, that's gone this time.
Josh Hazelwood's role, stay out of the way and let Green get to work.
I reckon they're probably just on top. They've got obviously a pretty quality batting lineup, and yeah, we've got to bowl well tomorrow.
The 24-year-old 103 not out at stumps on day 1. Trent Neese, 9 News.
A fantastic effort. Well, Michelle Heyman is still in disbelief after her fairy tale comeback to the Matildas culminated in 4 goals against Uzbekistan. Her starring performance helped the Aussies book their ticket to the Paris Olympics in front of a sellout crowd at Marvel Stadium.
She only had 3 hours sleep, but nothing could dampen Michelle Heyman's spirit this morning.
To be able to walk out onto that field with those girls in front of that incredible crowd was everything that I've ever wanted.
In a 10-0 demolition job, the 35-year-old was the X factor, booting her 4 goals in the first half.
Driven back in, and there it is.
You think a hat-trick's cool, and then when you get 4, I was just like, wow. Like, I think I was in shock. I didn't even know how to celebrate that. Like, I think I should have done a little bit more.
After retiring from international soccer in 2019 due to injuries and a mental health battle, Heyman thought her time in the limelight was over. From the stands, she watched the Matildas rocket to stardom, desperate to find a way back into Tony Gustafsson's team.
I just put everything I could to get him back in this squad and, trying to score as many goals for Canberra United so I could, hi Tony, can you let me in?
When Sam Kerr did her ACL, the striker position became vacant. But not in her wildest dreams would Heyman's first game back on home soil have panned out like this.
It's like it's my first time again. I get to play for my country and I got to have my family in the crowds.
While she was pivotal in earning our place in Paris, Heyman's spot in the squad of 18 isn't a lock.
Just working on my fitness, working on everything else to get that ticket.
But it seems the people already can't imagine this team without her.
To be able to walk out of the hotel and just be stopped by so many people, cars beeping at you, screaming, "Hey man," and all this, good luck. It's such a beautiful moment.
Xander Maguire, 9 News.
Well, they might be sparring partners on the Sunday footy show, but Nathan Brown and Kane Cornes are set to square off for real in the boxing ring. The pair is part of a star-studded fight night in Adelaide during next month's gather round, and the trash talking has started.
Boxing has been blessed to have legends of the ring. Think Muhammad Ali.
I'm ready to back up everything I'm saying, and I'm through talking.
And that other great orator, Mike Tyson.
There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children.
Now there's Nathan Brown and Kane Cornes.
I've got the butterflies. I'm sure they're going to be there when I walk out.
So in the blue corner, one-time footy fashionista, Nathan. In the red, Port Adelaide tough guy turned shock jock, Kane.
One of the reasons I was a draw card is because a lot of people want to see me get knocked out, so I'm conscious of that.
As for which of the two will claim bragging rights, that's to be determined over a marathon, epic, bone-jarring, 4 rounds.
I think it'll go the distance. I'm hoping it goes the distance. I think it'll go the distance. So it was pretty loud there, wasn't it?
Also on the bill for the April 3 fight night in Adelaide, former Magpie teammates Dane Swan and Dale Thomas.
This becomes an interesting factor, doesn't it? Because it's all fun and games, as the old saying goes, until someone gets hit in the face.
In the battle of the heavyweights, it's Anthony Rocker against Corey McKernan. But much of the interest will be on Kane and Naif.
I mean, he played for Port Adelaide, but I even think those fans don't like him anymore either.
We can only wonder what Ali would make of it all.
I don't like fighters who talk too much.
But the biggest loser could be boxing itself.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
good.
That is going to be a must-see when it comes around.
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you so much, Tom. Well, to finance, and new ABS data has laid bare the issues being faced by retailers so far this year, but a bonus day has helped make up for it. Here's finance editor Chris Kohler.
With this being a leap year and today being the extra day, that means extra money for the economy. More specifically, this quarter will be 91 days instead of 90. That's worth an extra $6.6 billion to the national accounts, according to some clever economists. So the good old calendar is pitching in to keep the economy right side up this year too, which is good because Australians spent less at the shops in January than expected. 1.1% growth compared with the 1.5% the market was hoping to see. So retailers had a lean start to the year, which also helps explain why Harvey Norman today reported its half-year profit tumbled 45%. There were some bright spots in the result though, so investors actually pushed Harvey Norman's share price higher. Overall, the share market recovered from early falls to briefly touch record highs, and the Aussie dollar was buying 65 US cents and 60 euro cents.
Thank you, Chris. A sunny and warm start to autumn tomorrow.
Jessica has your Friday forecast next. First, though, a look at tomorrow's speed cameras.
Wake up and laugh with Adelaide's #1 breakfast show.
Rudits and Loz tomorrow on 104.7 Triple M.
For the latest Adelaide news and traffic.
Hello, we are coming to you live from the Fringe Festival tonight. The gates have opened at Gluttony and punters are rolling in for a Thursday night's worth of entertainment. It's cool and cloudy but quite refreshing. We had a top in the mid-20s today and it's around 24 degrees in the city right now. Around the suburbs for the last day of summer, it has been a little bit overcast from time to time. We had temperatures maxing out at 24 degrees at Noarlunga and Glenelg. We weren't that lucky up north where many spots were still up in the 40s around Coober Pedy and Roxby Downs, but the southwesterlies did keep things in check down south. We had 23 degrees at Victor Harbour and 27 at Mount Gambier. We do have a trough on the charts which could bring isolated showers and thunderstorms through northern and eastern regions. Interstate warm again in Brisbane tomorrow following their warmest summer on record based on overnight minimums. Temperatures there have not dropped below 20 degrees in the last 60 days and are staying up there for the next week at least. Back to SA and it's looking pretty iffy around the north. Hot and windy for Port Augusta. The chance of storms at Coober Pedy and also at many other outback locations with temperatures still up above 40 degrees. Looking more settled through the south though, temperatures trailing off to 31 at Nurayutpa, 27 at Murray Bridge and 24 at Mount Gambier. Some outback storms could trigger damaging winds east of the Flinders Ranges tonight, so we have a warning in place there. And also take care by the waters, we have a marine wind warning in place tomorrow for the Spencer Gulf. On metro waters, winds tending south to southwesterly, 15 to 20 knots in the middle of the day and then dropping off late evening. For the first day of autumn around Adelaide, can you believe it? Easy weather in the high 20s. We have 29 degrees in store at Elizabeth and Golden Grove and 28 at Mount Barker. And we are looking to finish the week for you tomorrow with a mostly sunny 29 degrees in the city. After that, we have a very gentle weekend in store. We have temperatures around the 27-degree mark for Saturday, 25 degrees on Sunday, still staying dry. And next week, we'll probably be back up into the 30s with more dry weather. So that dry spell is continuing. The best chance of rain at this stage is maybe Wednesday, but even then it's only half a chance of less than a millimetre. So I think we're going to have to keep watering those gardens for now. But for the meantime, a great night ahead at Gluttony and the Fringe Festival. The show must go on.
Yeah, looking great. Jessica, thank you, and thank you for your company. That's the latest from 9 News Adelaide.
More updates to come, but we'll leave you now with a current affair. Have a great evening.
Good night.